Now, under President Trump and his leadership, more and more people are finally speaking out against the woke mob's agenda. In a podcast interview released on Tuesday, author Malcolm Gladwell, great author, reflected on his role moderating a 2022 sports conference panel about transgenders competing in women's sports, and he admitted that he did not speak his mind on the issue due to public pressure. Take a listen.
It was a particular moment which has passed. If we did a replay of that exact panel at the Sloan Conference this coming March, it runs in exactly the opposite direction. And it would be, I suspect, near unanimity in the room that trans athletes have no place in the female category. I don't think there's any question. I just think it was a strange. The reason I'm ashamed of my performance of that panel because I share your position 100%, and I was cowed.
And breaking today, the DOJ considering a proposal to block transgender Americans from buying firearms. This comes in the wake of the deadly Minneapolis school shooting committed by a, quote, trans woman. Here with reaction, the host of Gaines for Girls podcast on Outkick, Riley Gaines. I didn't know that it had been confirmed that I know that there was an official name change, but let's put the Minneapolis case to the side for a minute. If people are on hormonal therapies that can alter moods dramatically in whatever direction, is this the right policy?
Yeah, that's right, Sean. Look, it's been amazing to see the response that we have since learning this breaking news. Democrats have, resoundingly become pro-gun. If Trump said oxygen was amazing, I think the left would suffocate themselves. Let's look at this. The requirements to own a gun. You have to be 18 or older. You have to be legally admitted into the country. You have to pass a background check, and you can't be permitted under federal law, meaning you cannot be a felon. You cannot be a fugitive. You cannot be an unlawful drug user. You cannot be convicted of domestic abuse, and of course, you cannot be mentally ill. So it really boils down to this. If you think that people who believe that men can be women, that men can get pregnant, that tampons belong in boys' bathrooms, that women need prostate exams, are mentally ill, then I think it's pretty clear cut. And it's easy, Sean, for the headline to be that Trump wants to ban people who identify as trans from owning guns, but that's not necessarily what this would be. If he followed through with this, it would be more so a ban on people with a mental illness owning guns, which, of course, is already illegal, Sean.
Well, and that's the thing. And there also is this factor called evil, and evil does exist in people of all sexual persuasions. I thought it was pretty courageous of Malcolm Gladwell to make that admission. What did you think?
Yeah, I think this shows us a couple things. Number one, I guess for him to say that he was too scared to say that men don't belong in women's sports, it shows us, number one, really how totalitarian and propagandized mainstream media is and has become, and number two, how spineless mainstream media journalists are. I believe, I'm of the mind that really he had nothing to lose here. I believe he was protected financially. He could have weathered any storm, yet he let others, your everyday Americans with everything to lose, be the ones to speak the truth and on behalf of women. That's why I have so much respect for people like J.K. Rowling, right? She just launched actually a new book this week. I think it's called The Hallmarked Man. Pre-orders have been the highest in Hachette's history, so I would say that she's doing pretty well. I think we're going to see a lot of apologies like this, along with memory holing and people who are willing to outright lie about their stance or maybe even their voting record or participation in the erosion of women's rights, parental rights, and the safeguarding of children. Just give it a few more years.
I don't like the fact that he gave into the pressure, but I do like the fact that he now owned it and admitted it and apologized for it and said he was wrong. Got to give him credit for that part of it.
Yes.
Go ahead.
It takes courage.
Yeah, it does. To admit
it takes courage in today's world. It takes courage to say that there are two sexes. Can you believe it, Sean?
Not in my world. It's not that hard. Riley Gaines, thank you. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.